Hey, good evening, good evening, good evening. How everybody doing? Hope everyone is doing well today on this nice, cool Sunday evening. I know it is here. I don't know about the weather where you're at, but it's nice and cool here. Good weather to me. I don't like to be hot like that anyway, so but it's some good weather here. Give y'all a few minutes to come in while I check everything else. Hope everyone is having a great Sunday evening. If this is your first time here, let us know in the chat. We welcome you. Thank you for tuning in with us today. And if you're in the chat, let me know if you can hear the sound. Everything sound pretty good. Because I'm getting ready to get started here in a second. So it was good. It was good, man. He said sound pretty good. Okay, well, good. Appreciate you all joining in today. Thank you for joining in. We're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna go ahead and get started on today. Today, y'all. It's a good day. It's a good day. But today's topic is, why did I ignore the red flags? Why did I ignore the red flags? Talk about myself too. Why did I ignore the red flags? So, welcome to Real Talk Conversation, where a platform has been created to come together and commune together and not divide each other. There's enough division going on right now, even in my county. There's a whole lot of division. Whole lot of division going on right now in my county. I mean, a lot. Sad but true. But today's topic is, why did I ignore the red flags? I know a lot of us probably have been there. Probably have been there. Let's be honest. Let's be honest with each other and be honest with yourself. You have been there yourself. You have ignored a lot of red flags in our own life, in your life, my life. We have ignored those flags. We have. So let's just stop playing with it. I'm going to be real with you today. I'm going to be real. Going to be real. I saw it. I'm talking about me. I ain't talking about nobody else. I'm talking about me. Me. I saw the red flags. I seen the stuff going on. I heard the stuff that was going on. I ignored the flags myself. I did. I ignored it. I saw it. It wasn't something I could fully explain, but deep down inside me, I knew something wasn't right. Just like a lot of you all. You know something ain't right. You felt it deep down inside. What we do though, what did we do? We ignored those signs. We did. And instead of walking away, I stayed. Instead of you walking away, you stayed. My son said, I didn't know the red flags when I shouldn't have, but I learned from it. Yes, me too. I learned from it. I ignored them when I shouldn't have, when it was plain as day. A lot of times the red flag is God showing us what the real deal is with that person. But we get in our mindset sometimes, oh, I can change them. Oh, they, you know, if I stay with them long enough, I love them a certain way, I will be with them. I can change them. Nah, a lot of times you can't change them. A lot of times you can't change them. No, you cannot. You cannot change. I'm sorry, but you can't. It's your first time here. We like to welcome you all, or I like to welcome you all. What's on in the chat? So we like to welcome you all. It's your first time here. Let us know if it's your first time here. If you're on Facebook, like and follow and share. Like, follow, and share. I just want to thank you all for just tuning in with me today. You know, we just appreciate you all right there. And just thank you so much for that. Like I said, you're on the Facebook, follow. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. But I stayed, just like a lot of you all have stayed. I mean, let's be honest and be honest with yourself. Think about it yourself. Think about it. You stayed, I stayed, we all stayed. Red flags are right there just flashing. Matter of fact, sometimes the red flag won't even flash and they stopped. And it was a solid red. And then I told myself, maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe I'm overthinking. Now give me a second. Camera don't act like you don't want to focus sometimes. You know, maybe I'm overthinking. That's why I told myself. Maybe it's not that serious. How many of y'all said that? Maybe it's not that serious. I don't know. How many times you have said that? Maybe they'll change. I raised my hand on that. Maybe they'll change. But if I'm gonna be totally honest with everybody that's on here, I wasn't confused. I just didn't want to accept it. I didn't want to accept it. I wasn't confused. A lot of times we're not confused. A lot of times we go in full blast. We go in head first, just like a baby. When the baby's born, baby come out head first. In some cases, they had to turn the baby around inside the mother's womb. But just think about it. I'm just saying. I just didn't want to accept it. I didn't want to accept what I was seeing. I didn't want to accept what I was hearing. I didn't want to accept none of that. And it happened. Then the realization came in and settled in with me. You know, looking back now, it's crazy how clear it was. It's just like a movie. It played so clear. It really did. It played so clear in my mind and and uh and what I was hearing. It was so clear. It was so clear to me. And it's crazy how clear it was to the point I just pushed it over to the side. But it was clear. The little things, the way they talk to me sometimes, that's that was crazy. You know, we put up with a lot of talk sometimes. We do. We put up with a lot of talk. We put up with a lot of mess. A lot of times we say, "Well, I'm not in an abusive relationship." Yes, you are. Verbal abuse, verbal abuse. My son said I wasn't confused either. I just didn't want to accept it and was in the denial because of how close I was to the person. Yep, yep. We've been there. We've been there. Then the inconsistency. I mean, pay attention. Look at it. Pay attention to it. That feeling that something just wasn't right. Key sweat. Something just ain't right. How many of y'all been there? I mean, just think about it yourself. Yourself. How many times have you been there? Think about when Key Sweat something just ain't right. It's a meaning behind that song. He was singing about that song. Toss and turn, girl. I just can't sleep at night. Something was going on. And we have been there. We have been up late at night. We have been on the phone late at night talking to people, trying to get this off our mind, get this off our chest. And it's, in a lot of cases, some people talk to God trying to get this off their chest, trying to get this out their system. But guess what? A lot of times we do that and then we stay right there in that system. But it's a good thing I caught it early. But I kept giving chances. We all do that. Hoping and praying, oh God, please change them. Let them change. Whole time he trying to change you. Whole time he's showing you that person ain't right for you. The whole time he doing all this stuff. And guess what? We still ignored it. We still ignored it like it was nothing. Guilty. I'm guilty. I'm guilty of that. See, I'm being honest with you. But I kept giving chances. I kept giving chances. I kept making excuses. I kept doing this and I kept trying to see the good, even when the bad was presenting itself. Even when the bad was presenting itself, I kept trying to see the good. And it kept showing up. It kept showing up. I kept pushing it off. I kept ignoring. So why did I ignore the red flags? Why did you ignore the red flags? Even as of today, think about it for about three or 4 seconds. Why did you ignore the red flags? You seen the deal. Why did you ignore them? Even when God sent someone to tell you or warn you or let you know that person, no, 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 but you did anyway. Was it love or was it lust? Was it love or just a person you want to be with? Or those friendships, those family members? Which one was it? But we can go into the deep truth about it. And this is what I'm really trying to hit home and hit with me, my own self. I wasn't holding on to who they were. That's the deep truth, brother. I was not the deep truth of it. I was not holding on to who they were. Relationships, friendships, family. A person can only fake for a while. And sometimes they can fake it for a few years. But slowly throughout those years, little bit come out. It comes out, it comes out. Because you cannot hide it forever. I was holding on to who I hoped they would become. It's because of how close I was to them. When I should have left the moment I seen the real them. And a lot of times we don't leave. Even when we see the real them, we won't leave. We'll stay right there. In our mind, we're playing in our mind that they're gonna change. Playing in our mind, if I just love them more, they'll change. We're playing in our mind that if I just do this or do that, play it in our hearts. They got a good heart, but they are abusive verbally. Some in some cases, physically. So we play it over and over and over and over. So I'm just holding on to in hopes they would change. But you know, a lot of times they don't. And I built that version of them in my mind. You ain't got to be real with yourself. And if you're not real with yourself, then you just fake all along. Even in relationships, friendship, family, co-workers, you just being fake. If you can't be real with yourself, who you gonna be real with? Or you can sit here and try to be real with a woman or a man all you want to. It doesn't matter. A man or a woman does not validate you. A lot of times we look for other people to validate us. It doesn't. It doesn't. You're just playing yourself. You're not careful. If you're not careful. And I stayed committed to that version. I stayed looking at that side the whole time. I stayed my mind focused on that version of that person that I've had pictured in my mind and in my heart. Even when reality kept proving me wrong. Reality kept proving me wrong. Reality kept proving you wrong. You can't change no one. I'm just being honest. You cannot change anyone. If that person want to change, that person has to have a made up mind to change. Just like you and me, we had to have a made up mind to change. Can God change someone? Yeah. Yes, he can. But that person has to be willing themselves too. That's the case, the world will be perfect. The world would be perfect if that's the case. Let's look at it. The world would be perfect if that's the case. If that's the case, the world would be perfect. Just being honest, y'all. Then I got to listen to that inner voice. That inner voice. There was always a voice inside of me that was saying something. It wasn't loud. It wasn't loud, but I heard it, but ignored it. It wasn't forceful, but it was consistent. It was soft, not forcible, but it was consistent. And I would hear that voice even when I was around them. And it was telling me, just like it was telling you, this ain't right. If a man hits you, he said it won't happen again. There's a good chance it's gonna happen again. If he's controlling, if he's always yelling at you, fussing at you, or a woman always yelling at you and fussing at you, it's gonna continue. We think by staying it's gonna level out, it's gonna be fine. No, no. See, sometimes we think with the wrong mindset. We always looking for this super fine man or this super fine woman. Yes, and I know we want a good looking man or woman, and I get that. Yes, we do. I understand that. Sometimes an ordinary man or woman is one God trying to send to you, but we ignore that. We ignore it. We ignore it. Then I get to thinking, but every time I heard it, I ignored it. That's a good thing about life when you're growing up, and as you see yourself now, you look back over your life, like the song said. When I look back over my life, and I think things over, you be like, man, I've seen all this stuff before, and Push it to the side. I ignored it. Every bit of it. Every bit of it. If this is your first time here, we welcome you to Real Talk Conversations, where a platform has been created to come together. No, excuse me, created to come together and commune together and not divide each other. We got enough division going on. I got hiccups, water. But I just thank you all because you could have been doing anything yesterday. But just being real on today, I ignored a lot of signs. We ignored a lot of signs. You ignored a lot of signs that it presented itself. Sometimes it presented itself in the beginning because we feel like we're so deep in love at times. We think the love can overpower the warning sign. We think that, but it doesn't. It doesn't. And every time I ignored it, it didn't get no better. It did not even get any better. Matter of fact, it got worse. Men go through verbal abuse too. Men go through physical abuse too. But when a man tries to explain that and let people know that they're being abused, a lot of times we get laughed at. Now, y'all ain't going through that. It ain't nothing y'all do. That woman ain't doing that. And a lot of times, just that woman is. Verbal abuse is heavy inside some relationships with women verbal abusing a man. You ain't nothing. You ain't never be nothing. I don't know what you're doing that for. Nobody care nothing about you. I'm the only one that care about you. That's a lie. That's a lie. And then, that's when it hit me. When it hit me. Ignoring red flags doesn't protect you. Ignoring red flag doesn't protect you. It doesn't. What's going on, Brenda? What's going on, the model? It doesn't. Show me one time where a red flag protect you. I'll wait. It only delays the pain. I can tell you some stuff that I even see my own self. My own personal life. But just because you ignore them, don't mean they're gonna magically disappear. Doesn't mean it's gonna just go away. It's never gonna come back. You can get on your knees all night long. You can fast for 365 days. That person will only change when they want to change. When they want to change. See, they are there, but we choose to ignore it. Yes, we choose to ignore them. We choose to ignore them. That's the sad part about us. We'll do all this stuff. We'll go on by our business, and then we think everything lottie dottie, and it's so happy. We'll fake. And the crazy part about it, we'll fake it in front of people. We'll fake it when we're around friends. We'll fake it when we're outside. We'll fake it, especially when you go to church. There's a lot of fakeness going on in the church, especially with that side. Because you got a lot of pastors that do abuse their wives. Physically, verbally, mentally. Y'all keep thinking that that's not true. Just because they're a pastor. You keep thinking that. I don't know what. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that part right there alone. But keep thinking that they don't. You keep thinking that. I just put it that way. People forget that if you pray and ask God to reveal who they are to you, He will show you. You just not the way you want it. Yeah, He'll show you just not the way you want. And I say that often. You know, you want to know what's really going on? Ask God to show you. And when He show you, don't be surprised what He show you. You know, and I say often with this, if you want to know what's going on in this world, what's going on inside this world, ask God to show you. Just don't be surprised what He show you, because all this, what you hear in church and all this lovey-dovey stuff and all this about the blessings and all this feel-good message, that ain't really what's going on. I'm gonna leave it alone. Cause see, that side right there, y'all ain't ready for that talk. You know why? Because you're so used to being injected with all these um prosperity messages, all these feel-good messages. And when God is showing us what revelation is going on, you don't want to hear that part. But I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm going back to my red flag right now. But ignoring the red flag, it doesn't protect you. It just delays the pain. You sit there and be crying and be hollering at night and all this and oh God, why am I dealing with this? Why am I going through this? And please God, show me the sign. Then when He show you the sign, you still ignore the sign what He's showing you because you want to be with that man or you want to be with that woman. So you ignore it to the fullest. I'm just saying. I ain't trying to be funny neither. I'm just saying. We ignore it to the fullest. Then we crying to God, and God be like, look, I don't told you before. That person is not for you. But what we do, we jump right out there and be like, well, God, please, God, please, God. We pleading with God. Come on, man. And you asked Him. You asked God. He showed you. Gonna say they're tickling their ears. That's what they want to hear. That's right. They don't want to hear something to convict them. No, you know, people get mad when you say certain stuff, and you can be honest. If you don't want to know the truth, don't ask somebody the truth. Ask them to tell you the truth, because you ain't gonna like it. You're not gonna like it. So I don't even know why some people ask for the truth when you know good and well deep down, you ain't gonna like it. So why? Why do you ask the truth? Mm, 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 mm. But what we do, we continue on with it. Lord, please change this person, change that person. That's what we're saying. That's exactly what we're saying. Instead of saying, God, help me to get out of this. But we won't say that because we want to stay in that relationship because they look so good. Oh, they fine and all this kind of stuff. Boy, them fine ones will beat you too. They wonder why 3 years have passed and nothing has changed. They are still doing the same old thing because the flags are not going to change. They're not going to change. And that person can say, well, you know, I'm a change. I'm a change. Especially if you're taking care of them. If you're taking care of that man, if you're taking care of that man, and if you're taking care of that woman, they'll say stuff like that. They don't want to lose their comfort. They don't want to lose their pillow or their security. But every time I thought things were gonna be better, I ignored everything and boom, it was right there still right there. It didn't even get any better. And because it looked good doesn't mean it's good for you. That's exactly right. Just because it looked good. Sometimes you see people with certain people. You see couples, or even in certain marriages, you see couple. You be like, what he doing with that person? Or what she doing with that person? What he doing with that person? You really don't know. You really don't know because you think they supposed to look so fine, or she's supposed to look so fine. He's supposed to look so handsome. That's what you're supposed to be with. And in some cases, that is true. In some cases, that is true. You ever notice sometime in some pastors' lives, they don't have no super fine woman? You ever notice that? Because when you read the Bible said he would see you a help mate. A lot of time we're looking for a soul mate. Who is your soul connected to? If you're looking for a soul mate, I'm gonna slide off that for a minute. Bible said a help mate, not a soul mate. Help mate. Because your soul can be tied to anyone at any time. He will send you helpmate. They're not gonna come in and dog you out. They're gonna come in. Not saying you're not gonna have any problems in a relationship or marriage. Not saying that. They'll come in and they will actually help build you to be better while they're being built to be better themselves, because you're gonna pour that same energy, if you're that type of person, back into that person that helped build you. Just saying. But the wake up call came, and when it finally fell apart, I couldn't even act surprised. When it finally fell apart, I couldn't even act surprised. Why am I surprised for? Because deep down, I already knew. Deep down, me, I already knew. You already knew. Deep down, we knew. We knew. And that's the part that hurts the most. That's the part that hurts the most. Not just the heartbreaking, but realizing you saw it coming and stayed anyway. When you realized and you saw it coming, but you stayed anyway. When God pull you out of certain situations and certain relationship, it don't mean for you to go back. I don't care how sweet they are. I don't care how fine they are. I don't care if they paid all your bills, bought your car, bought your house. If God pull you out of that mess, it's not meant for you to go back. I don't care. They say, well, I don't change. A lot of times that stuff don't work. It don't work the second time around. In some cases, it don't work. And I'm not joking with it. I'm not playing with it. I'm being straight up real with it. For real. But we saw it coming. We stayed anyway. For what? So my lesson is, so now what? So now what? I don't ignore that feeling anymore. I don't explain away what doesn't even sit right. I don't do none of that stuff. I don't lower my standards for anyone, nothing. I just don't. I just keep somebody in my life. If I'm trying to keep somebody in my life, I ain't lowering my standard for no one ever again. Because I learned the hard way. I learned the doggone hard way. Boy, I tell you what, we can keep playing with this stuff we want to. Brenda, what's that?
Hey, how are you? I still got a little voice in there, but I'm better. I'm much better.
Well,
So I
good,
decided
good.
to come on because you are hitting on a topic that a lot of people ignore because I don't have a man. Everybody else got one. I want to be in a relationship. I want to do this. And they ignore this stuff and it get worse and worse. Like you were saying, you've been through it. I've been through it. But I've learned that when God gave me my discernment and I start watching them, and they know I'm watching them, and then they start trying to get me to change my belief and my ways. And I'm like, nah, that ain't happening. that is not happening. And then they'll think if they buy me stuff or flash the money in my face, I'm like, money don't impress me. That ain't good. I'm not changing. When I see those red flags, I'll talk to you, but that's where the relationship gonna be as a friendship, not a relationship, because I've
Mm-hmm.
seen it and I'm not going to put myself through that. When I was younger and I didn't know better, I know better now. I'm like, we are not doing that because God give you, when you see those red flags, he's warning you then because he's warning you that, and you go like, we can do it. I'm going to change that person. You can't change anybody. They're going to have to want to change themselves until you see those change. And then some of them, this is funny. I had one guy put a, it was funny. It was so funny. I had one guy come in there. Oh, I done changed. And he tried to go to church with me and everything. And I was laughing. And then he was saying, I said, no. I said, until I know it's changed. He couldn't last a week. He couldn't last a week. He went back to his old self. And I'm like, that's what we in a relationship. I said, no, ain't no relationship here. I said, you the same person. You just tried to thought a week was gonna do it for you.
See.
So people gotta be aware that once you see those red flags, you need to leave. You need to get up and go. Don't care. You're not dating. You don't have a man of a woman or a woman. Don't care. It's best to be by yourself than in a relationship that is abusive. And like you said, verbally, emotion. You don't need that. You don't, because when you get that, it's hard to heal from it. And a lot of people don't heal from that and go into another relationship and they showing red flag because they have went through all this drama and trauma that they are seeing red flag from them, but they got it from being in a relationship that was verbal abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse. And when you in that, you got to heal from. You can't go into another relationship because you're going to show all these red flags. You can't do that. You got to stand still, heal yourself until God. And right now, like I said, I don't have to be in a relationship. I don't. My peace is more. My peace is more than being in a relationship and saying, and I get asked that all the time, Brandon, you in this field, you meet all these guys, why are you not in a relationship? And I'm like, I'm not messing with no person, mama, children that is not healed to bring drama on me. I can come in my house and be at peace. Ain't got to worry about freaking out. Where is I hadn't heard from him. What are you doing? All these, they can keep that. They can keep it.
Yeah, they can keep it. I know your internet, my internet, your internet, both of it, our internets are messed up because it's windy here. I don't know how it is where you at right now, but it's windy here. But a lot of the points they heard, and then I always say, like my son always say, that when you're trying to talk about something that's going to try to help people and do what's right, the devil always try to intervene in some stuff. Just because we don't have a big platform, even a small platform can say some stuff too. We all have an opinion about a lot of different stuff, and we don't have to stay. You don't have to stay. I don't have to stay. We don't have to take that type of abuse from anyone. God didn't create that. And like I said a few minutes ago, when you read the Bible said he would send you a helpmate,
Yes.
not no soul
Yes.
mate. A lot of times we hear people say, "No, I got my soulmate." Okay, which one? Who are you
Because that can
tied to
change.
with your soul?
Because that can change. That helpmate is going to stay there. It's not going to
Yeah.
bring you trauma.
Nope. Gonna stay there through the thick and thin.
They are not.
And Brandon said in relationship aspect, there's a lot of people who haven't spent time by themselves and healed properly. So they just jump into a new relationship with baggage. They get upset when it doesn't work. That is so true. That is so
Yeah.
true right there. I learned that the hard way myself, son. Y'all can tell I talk to him now. Y'all can tell I talk to that my man right there. And
That's
even
what I
with
was saying.
my daughter's the same way.
Carl, that's what I was saying. You got to heal. Even though you may go in a relationship and you are healed and fine. But if you're in a relationship that you've seen red flag and you stay there, you're gonna have drama yourself, and you're gonna have to heal from that before you go anywhere else. You got to heal.
Got to heal from.
And if you don't, you taking in a relationship, and then you're gonna have problems. And these red flags gonna be flying up everywhere. They're gonna be flying up everywhere because you hadn't healed. And them flags gonna be, especially if you meet a good person and they don't have that, and you've been in a relationship that caused you all of this trauma, and you went into it, them flags gonna be flying everywhere because you didn't give yourself. Yeah, because you didn't give yourself time to heal.
And that's a problem sometimes with us. We just wanna jump into another relationship and we haven't healed, because the only thing you really doing is putting a band-aid on top of it.
Yes.
That's
that
all
scar
you're doing. I don't care how much
and that scar is still open and still there. It's not healed yet.
Nope. I don't care how much sex you go out here and have. I don't care how much you drink. I don't care how much you smoke. I don't care. You can jump from this woman, this man, that man. You can do all this stuff right here. But until you finally set your tail down somewhere, my mama say, and let yourself heal, then you will be okay. Some people
Carl,
can't even.
What you just said is funny because they going from one to another one, and they don't know they are so tied in their body. And then that's more healing you got to do, more stuff you got to get, because once you in there, you taking on their spirit, and their spirit who they've been with 20 people. Them 20 people you're taking on. So you got all that stuff in you. You got to heal from all that. You got to get all those soul ties out of you. And you going from one person to another and you're not healed. All you is creating drama.
That's all. That's all. Straight drama. Some people can't even go out and sit down and eat by themselves. They always got to have somebody with them. Okay. You ain't even met your own self.
I go to the restaurant a lot by myself. And people say, how can you do that easily? First, Carl, I think the key thing, you got to learn to love yourself. Because the Bible tells us to love as we love ourselves. But if you don't love yourself, how is you going to love someone else? And the first thing, You got to heal and love yourself and know that you can love yourself and be in your presence alone and enjoy yourself until I had to learn that until you learn to love yourself. You don't mind being alone. You don't have that problem. That's why I can be by myself and be just as jolly and fine. And I say, until God send me the correct person, I'm fine like I am. I'm like, because I love myself. I love my company. That's why, like you said, I can go to a restaurant, sit down and eat. I can go to the movies and look at a movie. I do that a lot. And my niece started asking me to go with her. And she said, you go by yourself. I don't like to go by myself. So she started asking me. I said, I have no problem going to the movies and sitting there by myself, just like the restaurant. Until people learn to love themselves, they're going to pick up strays, which has red flags, and they're going to tolerate because they don't like things, like you said, to do things by themselves. They don't want to be alone. They want to be like the Joneses. I got to have somebody with me. Everybody else got somebody. But then when you get in these relations, and then you see all this drama happening on the news is what happening to people in these relationships. You seen them flash, and now you in it, and then some of them end up unalive because you seen them, but you chose to ignore them.
Yep. And that's the sad part because they will be some of them will be unalive, and you be like, wow, what happened? Especially with these and people don't like it when I talk about pastors and church and stuff. I don't care anyway. That's their problem. But they feel like a pastor can't do no wrong. So y'all got him at a level on God level, on Jesus level. No, some of these pastors are some of the wickedest people and meanest people and committing more domestic violence than somebody out here in the street. You just don't hear about it because they close it. It's like a casket. They close the lid to it. I know because I had a friend. I don't know how she is now. It's been some years now. I had a friend that was married to a bishop that was beating her. And the church hid it. And he wanted to talk to me. I said, man, you know what? Me and you, we can talk. But I ain't coming by myself because I don't know how you going to be. We'll meet in a neutral place. You bring somebody with you. I bring somebody with me. And we can sit down and talk about this. Because she was telling me what was going on. But he never had that conversation with me.
Because he don't. And that is what, well, Revelation's telling it, but the pastor, because they are up there in the pulpit, like I always say, a lot of them are not called. They call themselves. And they are up there, and they are just like us. The ones that is truly called, God has called them to teach the word, and they teaching the word. They're not tickling people's ear to keep them in, to get money out of them, tied. They're scared if they say something to convict the congregation, they'll lose their members. But they all are like us. We are ambassadors for Christ. We may not have been called, but God had called us to go out and tell people about him. But we may not have been called to stand in the pulpit, but we all ambassador, but we all sinner saved by grace. Until God changed our body, our flesh is steady fighting against the evil spirit. We steady doing that. So the ones that have been called in the past, they daily is trying to fight just like we are, because they are human. God created them just like us. They are not Christ. They are not God. They are just like us. So they are tempted to do stuff they ain't got no business doing too. They are the same way. So they are there doing it, one face in the church and another face at home. Evil, mean, ugly talking, abusive, all of that emotion. If they're not hitting, they're verbal abusing, but they call themselves a pastor. And then they put on a smile. All of them come to church.
Yeah.
When they drive up, they go left. All of them drive up. And then when they go back home, they sitting over there. It's a different thing.
It sure is. And you know, even just thinking about it, even ladies, and then some men that might want to be drawn to a woman pastor or whatever. Ladies, even these pastors have red flags too. They have them too.
Boy,
You
you
know
tell
why
it. Oh my goodness.
you know why you ignore them? Because you want to be the first lady.
They want the which is it, prestige? That's what that is. They want the title. So they ignore the red flags. They want that title. They think that title is going to make them important. So they ignore the red flag. They don't care what they do, just get me to be the first lady.
That's it. But they want to sit on that front row. If I have learned over the years, if a woman tell another woman, I wouldn't date that person if I was you. This person did. That woman ain't hating on you trying to stuff. That woman is warning you. Just like a man. If I tell another man, look, that woman right there, I wouldn't date that woman. It's something about that woman that you don't understand, don't even know. Even though I may not go into details with you. A lot of times they think, oh man, you just hate because you want it. No, I know what's going on. You may not know, especially if one of my family members or a close friend dated that person, and I've seen what they went through, and I'm trying to warn you not to get with them. Okay, you gay.
Oh
my
my!
guess. Go right ahead. Don't get to crying later on, because I have had a friend like that. Oh, Carl, man. Well, here they call me Pete, man. Pete, man, you just hating because you want.
Oh
I don't want.
my
If I want, I would have
goodness.
tried it, but I don't want it. But you go right ahead. I don't tell you what it is. And the woman almost killed, almost unalived her. I said, we
Oh,
tried to warn you.
you stepping on toes over there. I just did this. I say 5-6 months ago. I said, I'm just giving you, I'm just telling you, be careful. I'm just saying, I didn't tell why. I did not tell why. I said, I noticed. And I'm like, and then they come, well, yeah, they reached out. I said, all I'm saying is you better be careful. What if God is giving you warning? I'm telling you right now, be careful. Why? I said, I don't like to do that, but I'm just telling you. But they took it as like, she wanted him or something. I'm just giving you a warning. I know that person. I know the person. And I'm just warning, I'm just telling, that's it. Because once you warn it, that's it. And just like I told a friend of mine, we was talking, and he knew about that friend before I did. And I said something to him. And he said, oh, I knew about it. And I looked at him and I said, you knew? I said, we supposed to have been friends. Why didn't you tell me? He said he was taught that let them go through it and then they'll learn their lesson. And I said, okay, let me give you an example. I said, so if I was going down the street and you were ahead of me and that was a big old ditch or the cliff comes, the road stop and it's a cliff and it's dark. So you mean you'll let me go down that road and fall off that cliff without telling? He said, yeah, because you should have been more careful. And I said, that ain't scripture. Well, I was taught that. I said, no. I said, if you know somebody is going to harm somebody, you need to give them warning. If they don't take heed to that warning, then it's on them. But something happened, it's on you because you knew about it and you didn't give them any warning. He looked at me like I was crying. I said, no, you don't do that. I said, you knew this. Why didn't you tell me? And I would have took heed on what you told me. But he did. I said, so you will let me go down and fall off the cliff and think it's okay? And he said, well, I would talk that. That would teach you a lesson to know not to do it again.
Yeah. What? And the sad part about it, with that mindset, that'll teach you a lesson not to do it again. The sad part about it is, what if you don't get a chance to learn from the next lesson?
That's what I was talking about. Because if I fall off the cliff, I may be unalive. But if you would have warned me, I made it took another road. Look, I would have went around the road to another place.
Yeah.
That's in life. You made us decide, okay, I need to watch this person. I'm going to stay back and I watch. But no, you didn't give me a warning. But if I know you and I know this person, I'm going to say, be very careful. I'm saying, be very careful with this person. Because it's not like you think it is.
Exactly.
And then if you choose to further it on and then stuff happen, it's on you. I gave you the warning.
Mm-hmm. And people always think somebody's hating on them. Oh, you need to quit that, man. You don't know that person. Okay, I don't want you. I'm gonna go on about my business. That's up to you. You want, like you said, pursue that. That's on you. But don't get mad when the results and it's not what you thought they were gonna be. You cannot change no one. That's up to that
Nope.
individual. And some people say, well, God can change them if they want to be changed.
Yes. God gave us, he gave us free will, just like salvation. He don't knock the door down until he gave us free will to accept him. So that person, he she, they gotta want to change, seek counsel, seek help, ask God to show them what they need to do, where they need to go. And they got to want to do themselves. Now, God can let you hit rock bottom, and then you have no chance, no other thing. You either do or you don't. He can let you hit rock bottom, and then you want to come out of that, and then you're gonna start seeking help. But you got to want to do it yourself. I wouldn't want to let God take me. I have to go to the rock bottom and come up when he already done showed me this stuff. He done gave me warnings. He done showed this to me, and I'm still going down that same path that he done said, red flags, red flags, red flag. You need to get away from that. Danger. What was that lost in space and that thing used to say? Danger. Yeah. Danger.
I know some of y'all probably young. Y'all don't remember that TV show, but yeah, Lost in Space.
I just came up with that. I remember them saying, I was a little girl, danger, danger. He giving you that warning, and you're them like, you still want to go down there? Go right ahead.
Yeah. Just like, they say y'all women have that intuition on the inside. Y'all, that ain't no joke. Y'all do have that. And now men have certain things on the inside too. We know too. But if something deep down inside you, y'all talking about, well, God don't speak to me. If you feel something ain't right and you feel that it's not right, God is warning you. Oh, just because you may not hear a physical voice don't mean he's not talking.
My husband used to tell me all the time, because I would give him stuff. And he said, how you know? And I said, this discernment God is giving. And I realized that's a gift that I have. And I said, and everything I have told him, he'll come back. How did you know that? How did you? I said, it ain't me. I said, it's God. I'm just relaying it to you. It's there. He'll give it to you. And I'm a testimony on that. He will give you those red flags. He will show them to you. The women, he will show it to you. Can feel it. You can feel it. And then I done had about 4 guys tell me that. How did you know that? Then when they in desperate need, they'll call me, especially if they're going through something. Will you pray for me? Because I know the Lord's hearing your prayers. And I'm like, because you told me this. And I'm like, it's just discernment. And I'm trying to give you warning. That's it. But women don't use that. They ignore that because, like I said, it's something they got to have somebody by their side. They just ignore it. They just ignore it. Family member can tell them. Children, they just ignore it until it's too late. Then you got what you hearing on TV. Unlive two people. One did the other one, did the other one.
Mhm.
All of that. That's what you, because you done seen the sign. And I know a lot of people, it's easy to say get out, but you have to plan that get out because it becomes dangerous trying to leave. It becomes very dangerous. So you're going to have to plan. Once you get in that and you ignored it, it's dangerous, but you got to plan how to get out of that. I've volunteer. I know a couple homes that they use for women here, women and men's, and I volunteered and took stuff. They have the address is unknown and all of that because they don't want, but they will give it to you at the last minute so you know where to go. But I've done that and I've seen it's dangerous. It's very dangerous. And you have to be very careful, very careful. But a lot of times you could have prevented that with your red flags. Don't ignore them. Men's, women. Don't ignore. When you feel it and God's giving it to you, take heed. Take heed. You got to. This day and time, because the demons are rampant. They are down here rampant. And they are trying to steal, kill, and destroy whoever they may let them have access to them. So you got to start. You're going to have to start looking at the red flags. It's better to be by yourself, healthy, than being something every day you are threatened, you are abused, it's peace. Peace don't cost you nothing to stay over there in your corner. Peace is everything. It's better than anything to be in that. You wake up with it, you go to bed with it, and then sometimes you're scared to go to bed with it because you don't know. That's what I'm saying. Even if you ain't in there, then they come over your home. All you hearing is verbal, calling you out your name, calling you all this, telling you all this, and then the next 12 minutes they act like they ain't said not one thing abusive to you.
And they go right on with their day like nothing happened. It's a lot of signs that we don't pay attention to because our eyes see one thing, our mind is saying one thing because we got a vision and a version of them in our head. But a lot of times we ignore their heart because their heart is trying to tell us what the deal is, but we ignore it because we want to be with somebody so bad. And I was talking to a person one time. They said, "Well, we're not here to be alone and stuff like that." That's what everybody in the Bible wasn't even married. Everybody in the Bible was not married. I said the main one that's in the Bible wasn't even married. Jesus wasn't even married. So what? But we take on all this stuff and all these personas and because we want to look a certain way. But what is it costing you?
Peace, joy, happiness. That's what it's called. Peace, joy, happiness. I'm serious. I call a lot of I put it on the women, like a lot of women thinking, oh, I need help. So if I get somebody, I'll be able to get say, here, help me pay this. Here, help me pay this. He'll do this. He'll do that. That's what a lot of them think. I get some help. It's not worth the help.
No. And matter of fact, you talking about that, I got to get my friend Pamela Ann back on, because she talked a lot about domestic violence and stuff, and that's one of the main things she put in there. It's not easy just to get up and walk away. You got a plan to get out of there. And I say to folks all the time, you know, when people come out of domestic relationships, they ain't trying to hear God first. They trying to seek some help first. Get them some help first. Then you can talk about God as you go along. They want to be helped, because if you just come straight out with God gonna take you, just come on, go with me, God. They're not trying to hear that right now. Because you're not in the place that they are at.
That's why I say you have to plan. Just like Pamela Ann saying, you have to plan, because I remember when she sent something that they needed so much of this, and when I can, I do. When she puts it out, I do the help, and then she'll come up, oh, that help them be able to do this, because you have to do that. And Pamela, she's real good with that. She worked with them, and to do that, and you want to help, and you have to be careful yourself, because if you go tossing yourself over there trying to get involved, then you are in a situation, because they'll turn on you. So you do have to plan. Like I said, they have different homes over here that people don't know who's in there, because they have to keep it that quiet and simple, because those people are looking for the people that have found a way to leave, to get out. They are looking for them. So they have to be in a place. And then if you're working, they're going to show up on your job, and they don't care. They'll come in there and ready to unalive you right there on your job. They don't care. So a lot of women have to leave their jobs, quit their jobs to be safe, because they know where they're working at. They have to leave. And that's why it's not easy to leave and stay in your job and be safe, because they know where you work at. They coming, because that's the spirit within them. The person that's doing all this stuff, like I said, never got healed. They went through something trauma, and they never healed. And they take it out on other people. And then the point is, they are in that situation. You don't want to say, I told you, you seen the red flag. Why didn't you just listen to the red flag? But now you're in it. And now you got to figure out how to get out of it, because you ignored the red flags. Though that person, like I said, they are not going to be able to carry on that front. All of us up front for so long. They're not going to be able to do it. Then you're going to start seeing, like I told you, that guy, me and him was off and on talking, and he knew the issues I had with him. Oh, I have changed. I have changed. And I said, let me be the judge of that. I said, let me be the judge of that. So I was the judge of thought going to church with me. People say, oh, how you get this person to go to church? I'm looking at him, he's speaking. A woman to get you to do anything. And I'm looking. I'm just paying attention. Well, can't we do? I said, no, I told you, I'm watching. A week by, I told him, I said, nah, we ain't doing this. I said, because it's no change in you. I said, you put on that front for a week. You only could hold it for a week. Like they say, they usually say within 2 to 3 months, you're going to see themselves, their real self. And I said, you just with a week. I said, nah, that ain't it. Nah, wait, no. No.
Women and men.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The men need to become, I know know a woman. I know a woman because she was bigger than the man. She just thought she could manhandle the man, make him do what she want. Very verbal abuses, and then when he didn't want to listen, would take the face to make him listen. So some men's out, and then one thing about the men's call, they too embarrassed to say a woman is doing this to me.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want, yeah, they don't want to be said, oh, I'm allowing a woman to do this to me. To them, that make them look weak. So they keep it in. They just keep it in and endure it. So
go right on by their business. And I'm glad you brought that part up because women, there's something you have to understand about us as a man, that if we're chasing you, and sometimes we have one mindset of what we want from you, we'll go all 9, 10, 12 yards to get it, even to go to church with you, just to get it. Matter of fact, I would listen to them. They were talking about, what's his name? Nick Cannon. He chased this woman for 3 years. He used the Bible to get her. That's sad. You got to use the Bible to get somebody. And then he went on by his business.
Once he got it.
And I'm not talking bad about him, but I'm just showing you, this is his interview. I didn't make that up. He did that. He said that. He chased her for 3 years until he used the Bible to get what he want from her. He said that. I didn't say it.
That is the ego.
Men would do that. Men would do that type of stuff. You got some women. What's that play? It's an old play by David E. Talbot. I think it's who it's by. It's an old play. It's called Mr. Right Now. He showed up at the church to get the women and used the woman, then started abusing the woman. The woman was she worked at his bank, and she was like overall, signing the check, you want to get a loan or whatever. And he used her to get that money and had a wife. They was running them scams. But see, women, just because that man go to church, don't fall for that just because they go to church.
That
check
don't
his fruit,
mean
as they say.
Yeah.
Don't
look,
mean nothing.
A lot of demons are in that church too.
They sure are. Yes,
a lot of demons. People, and that's true. People think if they get somebody out of the church, they done found somebody. No, you can find the worst demon in the church. They just sitting up there acting like that. I'm serious. You can find the evilest people sitting in them pulpits.
What's that they say? Check their fruit?
Yeah, you got to check their fruit. You got to check. And then a lot of people get upset with me because when I do background check, when I do all of this on them, why are you doing that? You ain't got no right. I said, I got all the right to protect my peace, my joy. I got all the right. I said, you coming at me and I don't have the right to do all this checking on you? That's a red flag right there. You can step on. You can keep going. You can keep going. I had this guy tell me, why did you do that? He got all this up, and I said, because I got the right to protect myself. If you had a daughter, when you want her to protect herself, and I said, and right now I'm seeing red flag with you. So no, thank you. You don't need to. So you get blocked. Block.
And some men, they would do the abusing, but if somebody touched their daughter like that, they ready to fight.
Thank you. You just said a mouthful, Carl. And I put it back on him. I said, when you want your daughter to do background checks on whoever she's going through, he got quiet. And then I'm like, and then you're going to tell me I had no right to do this? Well, no, thank you. You block.
Yeah.
You are blocked.
I was talking to this pastor one time, and we was talking about, got on something about relationships. Said, yeah, you're supposed to stay and work it out and all this kind of stuff. I said, even through abuse. I said, yeah, because y'all supposed to be to the end. I said, okay. I said, let me ask you this then. I said, me personally, I have a problem with that because I'm not gonna sit here and tell my daughters or even my son to stay in an abusive relationship. I said, I said, since I got two girls, I said, let me say it this way. I would tell my daughters to leave. I don't care what you say or what anybody else say. But let me ask you this question. He said, what's that? You got a daughter, right? He said, yeah. Would you tell your daughter to stay in that relationship? He paused. I said, your pause just gave me the answer. Because you would not. You would tell your daughter she ain't got to put up with that, come on to the house, whatever you got to do. See, I said, that's what trips me out with y'all pastors. Y'all tell everybody else what they need to stay in, but you don't tell your own kids they need to stay in there. Or would you tell your son to stop abusing your daughter-in-law? Even when she come to you and tell you that's what he's doing. And if you don't check him, that means you do it too. He got quiet. I said, see, y'all don't talk about that kind of mess in church because y'all want to leave that out.
Ooh.
But what did God tell you? God told you to preach the truth. That is truth. But y'all don't like that type of truth. I said, because it run people away. Like you said earlier, they try to keep the people in the seats. That's why a lot of stuff is running rapid inside the church. The church that brought the world. Let me just put it
That's why you got everything in there. In that building. You got everything in that building because they are not hearing something to make them uncomfortable. To know to think on this is wrong. You shouldn't be doing this. It's how to make you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus didn't preach to feel good. He convicted you. He convicted. When he went into turned over them tables, he's gonna convict you. But that have left the building. I'm being like this. That have left the building. That's all I got to say. That have left the building. It is so, but we just live in revelation. That's what it is. People call it wrong, right, wrong. People being evil, being unkind, be talking, all kind of evil stuff coming out their mouth. Just being evil and don't care. Do not care. Unkind to people, saying all and being abusive too. And don't care. They think you in the wrong. Like I told somebody, I said, I think they privileged to do whatever they want to do.
They do.
I said, they will have someone to answer for. Like I tell my children all the time, I said, make sure you're taking care and you're being the best person you can be. Because I say, when you stand before God, he's not going to ask you about that person. He's going to ask you about you.
You. Exactly.
You. So you need to do what you need to do. Yeah. And I said, I tell them all day, I tell them, I say, you be the best person. If God is showing you stuff and you need to correct, you need to correct. Don't worry, you pray for that person. You pray for them and leave it alone because they're going to have to answer at their call. They're going to have to answer and you're going to have to answer for you. And I said, you ain't going to be up there saying, well, he made me do this. He made me do this. No. First of all, I gave you warning. What did you do? You didn't listen to me. He's going to tell you about you.
That's what he's going to tell you. He's going to tell you about you. He ain't going to tell you about nobody else. You can stand up there with mama. No, this ain't got to do with your mama, daddy, whatever. This all got to do with you. All about you. People ignore for the red flags.
You're not going to be able to hold on mama coattail.
Yeah. Let me read this. People ignore for the red flags for various reasons. Mostly because we want what we want, even when you know you're being gaslit. Like, yes, that is so true. Nelly, that is so true. Yes, 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 and yes. I give you yeses always across the board, right?
Oh, yes,
We
on
want
that.
what we want. Oh yes. Oh yes. It's on that. Even when we know we are being gaslighted. We know. Yeah, we know.
We
I don't know
don't
why
care.
people think we don't. We know. No, we
We
don't
know,
care.
and
We
we
want
don't
what we
care.
want. Mm-mm.
Like you said, we don't care. We want it. We want it. And then when we get it and they realize they are in danger and it's not gonna get better, and then they are trauma, and then they looking sad, and then they telling this sad story to everybody. You
Yep.
knew about this, but you wanted what you want, so you got what you wanted. So that's all I got to say. You got what you wanted because you knew this.
Exactly.
You knew
Exactly.
this.
You knew it. You knew it. And what we do, I want it. I put up with anything because I want it.
Oh no. Mm-mm. People just don't know how peaceful. Like I can come in my house. If I don't want to get out the bed, I don't have to get out the bed. If I don't want to do it, I look at TV. But most of the time I'm traveling or doing this. Only reason I got the rest during this bronchitis, which I still got a little taste of this lamb chop because I was coughing so much. That's what I got slowed down. But I say, Lord, thank you for the healing, rest, because I needed the rest. I really
Mhm.
did. I needed the rest. I did a baby shower for my nephew yesterday. I've been planning almost 6 months on this baby shower. I gave it to her. And look, I did it on my own. My children helped me, but that was it. I didn't get any help from the other side, on his side. But I did it. But in the meantime, I was a little sick trying to do it. But Lord gave me strength to do it yesterday. And I had said I need to slow down to do that shower and a family reunion. And I'm like, it's so much peace when you can come and don't have drama. You don't have all
Yep.
this stuff going through your mind. Wonder why they said this to me. Why are they treating me like this? All of that. You ain't got to worry about that.
None of that. We got to worry about it.
Because see,
We got
God is not an author of confusion. So when he
no.
give you those red flags, he's trying to keep you safe, keep you from harm. He's trying to do all of that. But you, as I said, you want what you want, you ignore it.
Yep.
So you get what you got
Yep.
what you wanted. Now you got to deal with it.
Yes. Now you got to deal with it, and it's on you. It's on you from then on. Man, boys, we're gonna talk more about some stuff one day. When you really have some time, I'm gonna send you the topic that I want to talk with you about. But
Oh, you
you know,
said, me, look, you were good to get me because usually, like I said, usually I'm not here because I did
yeah,
that baby shower and I had took it off and called my air went out. So the last 3 days but it's a new unit. So tomorrow I got to call and say, y'all need to come get this thing and put me another one in because I done had too much problem. But anyway, they've been working on for 3 days. And I said, I'm cold natured. I'm very cold natured. So I hadn't turned my air on at all because I'm cold natured. Usually I don't turn it on maybe in the mid of May or something like that. But because I was doing the shower, I had to make some stuff, cook some stuff. And I turned my oven on and it got so hot in here. So I turned the air. I said, dog, really getting cold. It's still, and I realized it wasn't working. So I called them. They came out. One guy came out. He stayed here at 11 o'clock trying to fix it. Didn't do it. Came back again. Stayed to 10. Still didn't. He came out today after I came from church. He came out again with his manager, the field manager. They got it on and told me, and I said, I'm still calling and asking for a new unit because I hadn't had this thing for a year and it shouldn't be acting like this. I said, I've been calling too much. So I talked to my son, which is attorney. He said, yeah, Mom, go ahead. I'm like, usually I'm not here, but I happen to have the phone in me, and I see you were on. I knew you had put it up early. I said, oh, call on this. So that's why I clicked on. I was like, usually I'm not here, but usually I'm busy. But I'm trying to I'm not stopping. I'm just taking a break in these little months. And then after June, I'm gonna be full blast again. I do have a show coming up in May, Mother's Day weekend. So I'm doing stuff, but I'm not gonna put it out there. Something may be coming to Anson County from me. Something may be coming because I'm working with Holla. So something may be coming. And I think that will hopefully, because y'all got tension down there. I'm like, what in the world?
It's a lot of tension going on in Anson County. A lot of tension, boy. It's a lot of mess going on down here.
Carl, I said on my live the other day, I was driving because I seen something. I said, it seemed like the demons have just turned loose down there. And I said, the pastors need to start standing up. Instead of all this other thing, they need to start getting people fast and pray this, because it looks like something just opened the flood of demons, and it's everywhere. It's attacking, because all you hear, fire stabbing in the back, talking ugly to people. Pastor go, I'm like jealous of what this pastor do, jealous of what the county commission doing this. Oh my goodness. I said, what? And I said, the Lord have shown me the demons have gotten loose there, because nobody's stepping up in the church. The church needs to get involved and say, we need to start fasting and praying, because the Bible tells you these things, even when his apostles said, why couldn't I let this out? He said, this comes because you need to do this. They are not calling for that. And I said, you see all this stuff going on? Y'all need to do something. Like the Bible short trying to tell y'all. Yeah, it's a lot of, and I said, that's my hometown. I said, what in the world? It's sad, hard to hear that. And I'm like, oh. And I think back, Carl, when we were growing up down there, I was going to the Moose Lord. I was doing the movies. I was doing all of this. And they were trying to invent stuff. They wasn't all that stuff. But, oh. Yeah, and you see the red flag. And then I'm like, what have happened?
The red flag's been flying around for a long time. A lot of times we have ignored them. We ignored them. When it was time to stand up and do stuff, and it was time to vote and get stuff done, we sit at home. We don't go out. We just sit there. I always say this. In your town or county, your vote can get people out. Now it's up in the air about a president, but you have total control in your town and county.
Thank you.
Can't complain about we need change, and then you don't never get out and vote to try to help get this stuff changed in the county. That's just a waste of breath.
Thank you. And then look, one thing I heard they say, that guy tried to vote twice. I'm like, what kind of system y'all got down there? Right. Automatically, when you vote once, you come back and do it again, it gonna ding you out. So what is going on? I'm like, oh my goodness. They are saying all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, I don't need it, because my peace is peace. I said, I am, if nobody else do it, I'm fasting and praying for my town.
Yeah.
Fasting and praying for my town.
And here's the other part of that. Everybody been talking about, well, God needs to give us a sign. He don't pull the cover back. What you want him to do now? He don't pull the cover back on all this stuff. Now what you want him to do? Now what you want? What you want him to do now? He don't pull the cover back. Now it's time for you to go to work. See, and I say this often too when I say certain stuff. God is not going to do everything for you. We got to do stuff ourselves too. You can listen to the pastor say, well, God gonna work everything out. God expect you to do some stuff too now. Don't get it twisted. He expect you
Get
to do some
out.
stuff. Because check this out. If God was gonna do everything for us, what we need God for then?
And
After
why
he
are
do
we, look, and why are we here? Why are we here?
exactly.
Why are we here?
Matter of fact, if he was gonna do everything, guess what he would do? Cut out all the evenness, and the whole world would be perfect.
He told them on the cross that if he wanted to, his father was send all the angels down there and take him off the cross. He chose to do that on his own. That's what I'm saying. He know he can do it, but he done showed you. He done gave you the flag. He done showed you. He's waiting for you. He's gonna do it. And then I tell my children this all the time. I said, God shows you things. And if you choose not to do it, he's gonna let you go down that rabbit hole until you figure it out. And then you're gonna realize he's been showing me this all along. But I just didn't do what he told me to do. He been showing you this. He said, okay, since you think you know the best way to go, I'm gonna let you go there. And that's where I think right now in my hometown, he done said, y'all think y'all know it all, and y'all think y'all gonna, well, I done showed y'all what y'all need to do. And y'all still not doing it.
Still ain't doing it. So what you want me to
Get
do?
your behind out and vote. Do this. Be kind to people. Help people. Instead of letting cussing about and saying all kind of saying pulling up their record, doing all of this, doing all of this. What in the world? And that comes back with the red flags. I'm like,
And we just sit back and just sit back and just sit back. Oh, we just waiting on God to do something. Nah, okay, you can continue to use that all you want to. A lot of stuff can change, not only in Anson County, but all around. Because I'm watching some of these other counties, they got the same thing going on too. But we sit back because we have been told and taught. We just sit back and wait on God. No, sometimes God
work.
is telling you, you need to make a move. You want stuff to happen. You need to go to work. You want this to happen.
It's in the
You need
Bible
to make
about
it happen.
work.
I was watching this pastor yesterday. He raised $1 million. He raised $1 million, and he paid for three or 400 people so they wouldn't be evicted out their home or out their apartment, so they still have somewhere to live. He paid that. His church raised $1 million. How many churches would really do that? And took care of these families so they won't be evicted at their home.
Call. They're raising, put it in, look, they're raising, put it in their pocket.
Now, see, they be ready to stone you for saying some stuff like that.
Look.
You know, I don't got to stuff.
Only person I'm fearing is my heavenly Father. That's the only person I'm fearing right now.
That's all you need to fear.
That's it. I'm sorry. We ain't even gonna go there. But that's why I say I'm fasting and pray that people's eyes will open, and the Bible teach you about words.
Yes, it do.
It teaches you about what you got to do with words. It teaches you.
Yep.
And a lot of people are not reading the word. They are going to church and letting that person up front tell them. They're not reading it on their own. Mm-mm. So whatever come out that mouth, they taking it for heart. But you need to get in the word to see what he wants you to do, to see what he's telling you.
Exactly. And I'm glad you say that, because we're going to end it on that note right there. We need to get in it for ourselves. So, but before we get out of here, let the people know what you got going on, what you got coming up, and give out your social media information so they can follow you.
I am on YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram. I have my own website, BrandLeeTheModel.com. I'm trying to think. I'm on one more site. I'm like, I'm
You're
everywhere.
everywhere.
I'm everywhere. I am auditioning for another movie. I have a fashion show coming up in May. I was just on set with Jonathan Myers movie that is gonna be the bomb. Oh my goodness! It was filmed in Gaffney, South Carolina, and I got to meet him. I was on set with him, so that is coming up next year. I'm thinking that maybe go to the theater, but they supposed to let us know. And but I'm doing a family reunion, so to June, I'm just doing little things because when I do stuff, I do it unto God. So I try to do my best in everything I do. So I'm trying to take a break, but then I'm coming out and I'm gonna start after June. Y'all see me back on the plane. I start because people are trying to. I got an audition coming up in Greensboro, and there's one in Charlotte coming up. So I am still staying busy with photo shoot, doing all of this, but please follow me on my social media on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Please do. And I appreciate the ones that do. And I do call them out on my personal. I have 3 Facebook page, which I'm on too. Brand Lee TM, because I'm not only a model, I am an actress. And so I changed my name to Brand Lee TM. And I have Shop Brand Lee, where I am still selling workout gear. I have that, and then my personal, I'm Brenda Colson. So follow any of those 3 on Facebook. But yes, y'all should be hearing most stuff coming out. So that's Brand Lee. So when I'm home, I will jump on your site when I'm home. And I happen to be home today because they was here getting my air back on, which they did. And I'm thankful for the Lord for that. So, and I'm glad I was able to come on, even though my voice goes in and out. The doctor said it would probably take 46 weeks, and I done had it 4.5 weeks with this cough and stuff, but it's getting better.
Yeah.
It's getting better.
I mean, you got some fans. That I have some people that be asking me about you sometimes. They love to see you when you come on. She'll come on when she's not busy.
I enjoy it. I enjoy it. When I seen you send me that thing, I said, I'm here. The other time you seen I was here, I couldn't talk at all.
Yeah.
I couldn't talk. That's what I told you. I said I could type, but I couldn't say nothing. My voice gone. I stopped answering my phone because everybody and I tried. Oh, you sound awful. I said, yeah, I was supposed. The doctor told me not to talk. I said because I didn't have a voice. So that's what I told you. But today I said I'm getting on. When I seen it come through, I said I'm getting on. You talking about the red? Yeah, you talking about the red flag that a lot of people like that person that talked to them. They know they gaslighting, but they choose to want what they want, and so it don't matter what they doing to them. They gonna get it. So when I heard you say about red flag, I said I definitely covered on that.
Yeah, and we always appreciate you when you come through, y'all. And everybody, I thank everybody that came through and hung out with us for today. And I know stuff can get a little edgy, especially when you talk about the church and pastors. You know, they don't like that kind of stuff, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I just thank each and every one of you all. And Brent Lee, we always appreciate you jumping on with us. Everybody, if this is new, if it's your first time watching us today, we'd like to thank each and every one of you all. Brandon said he probably start back next week. He's been going to the doctor and trying to get
Brandon,
himself
I've been
together.
praying. I've been seeing him stand up, do his hand and lift himself up. When I said, okay, I'll be watching him on TikTok. Tell him I'll be watching TikTok and Facebook.
Yeah, and I'm getting ready to start venturing over into the TikTok thing too. So I'm gonna start going live over there. So y'all that's on my TikTok, y'all follow me on TikTok, y'all just watch it because I'm coming over on that side too. So everybody, I just want to give everybody a round of applause coming on. Thank you, Brent Lee, for jumping on with us today. We appreciate each and every one of you all. Everybody, you stay prayed up. We're in some serious time, y'all. Y'all think this is a joke. This is not a joke. This is for real what we're in right now. This life that we're living, that we're seeing, is for real. It is for real. You keep
Yeah.
your head up, your
Yeah.
eyes open, and always stay aware. Be aware of your unawares, because evil takes no days off. It don't care if it use you, your mama, daddy, sister, brother, kids, pastors, church folk. It doesn't matter what it uses, long as it can get to you to destroy and keep and unalive you. And I mean that physically too. So
The
y'all be
Bible
careful.
tells us to watch and pray. Watch
Watch
and
and
pray.
pray. Watch and pray. So if there's nothing else that need to be said, Brenda, we'll holler at you. Everybody out there, we'll holler at y'all.